your next page that will open will give you the option of including the forum name and the description. So you've got to obviously name it something, because these are asterisks, which means that they're mandatory questions. And I found it's just easy because it gets too confusing to know which one is displayed and then which one is the one that they see when they finally click on. I found it's just easier to duplicate the exact same thing for both of those different categories. So you could name it week 6 forum discussion, week 7 forum discussion as you go. So you can give it whatever name you want. The next step in terms of filling out your forum details is going to be choosing. So this is straight after, as you can see from our PowerPoint slide. We've gone just below that particular point. The next step is choosing your forum type. And this is where it becomes crucial if you want that single thread. So the question and answer forum, as you can see in the drop-down menu, is the one that you want. So the question and answer forum is the one that will get you the single thread. The other type of forum ones, I think, will get you the multiple discussions happening on the one page, and you've got to go in and open each of them individually. Bearing in mind that everyone is doing different things with their forum discussions, so it's about, I guess, meeting the needs of your course and meeting the needs of the lecturer staying sane. I'm more on the lecturer staying sane side throughout the process. Okay, the next thing that you then want to do, and all of this is going to be on the one page once you create the forum. So when you create the forum, these are all the different steps that you will see that you have to fill in before you finally get to the bottom where you save and return to the course. So this is all on just the first page. So the next thing that you want to do is to actually, and I would recommend that you say uploads are not allowed. And the reason why is if you don't click on that and you leave it as uploads being allowed, then the students, when they get to the forum, in most situations will probably turn around and just upload whatever their Microsoft Office document is. So this can be a bit frustrating when it comes to going through the forum, because when you want to read what their contribution is, you actually have to open the Microsoft document. Then if it's about printing, you then have to individually print each of the different files that have been attached to that forum discussion. And that can take up a bit of your time. So if you actually stipulate at the very beginning that uploads are not allowed, then that option is not available to them when they go to participate on that forum discussions. What I found helps is to explain that to the students. So at some point, maybe in your description or somewhere on your forum setup that you have, is to actually mention to them that when it comes to putting their information, they need to copy and paste. The other thing that I'd also point out about how Moodle works, for some strange reason, if you copy and paste using your mouse, like you right click and so on, it comes up with this warning message and it won't copy and paste. So you need to explain to the students that they have to use old school style techniques. Back in the day when we had Control V, so Control plus V for paste, Control plus C for copy, and some of them will be a bit horrified at the idea of that, but if they want to get their information up there, that's how they have to do it. And then sometimes they'll get in touch and they'll say, I don't like how it's formatted. So sometimes Moodle has issues when you use bullets and things like that when you're putting information on onto the discussion. So I normally would just let them know. If you want it to look fancy, Control plus B will bold certain information, Control plus I will italicize it, and then Control plus U will underline whatever it is that you're trying to emphasize. And so when we give them that information, a lot of times when they'll settle down and they're happy because now it looks pretty, and they're happy to keep going. So just main point to get out of this is it's preferable to go with the uploads are not allowed. Otherwise you'll have to open every single Word document that's put in there. The next step, in terms of what you're going to see when your page opens, relates to subscription and tracking, post threshold for blocking, marks, and the ratings. So for the type of forums that I've created in the past, I have found that this hasn't impacted in terms of how my forum discussion has displayed, and also because I don't mark them online, I haven't paid any particular attention to what those 4 features actually do. Depending on what you were hoping to achieve with your forum, because I know that some people will actually mark it online, then you can, I guess, sort of twiddle around, especially with the one that talks about the marks and so on. and sort of work your way in through there. Okay, continuing on. The next thing that you're going to come across, so remember we're working our way from when that screen opens, we're working our way going down. We've done the details on describing it, giving it a name, uploads are not allowed, we've picked our forum type, we're working our way down, we've ignored those other factors that don't impact on us, and now the next point that is crucial is the common Moodle settings. So remember earlier on we had gotten help and we created all our groups at the very first stage. So with your common Moodle settings, you want to click on that one because it's got show and then it's got hide. So you want the show one. And then on the group mode, if you click on that one, you want the option that gives you the separate groups. And the reason why that's important is by clicking on the separate groups, that's how you get to, over here on the right-hand screen, picking the specific group that will be participating on that forum. So that's where you can pick, for example, online students only, or if you had other groups created, MLS face-to-face, or the Labala face-to-face, or whatever the case may be. So that's, again, just sort of emphasizing the groups that we created at step 1 have that effect throughout the rest of your creating of your forum, and so it comes in handy again. It's also a good one if you don't want the other modes of students to see what that discussion is. So I know there have been issues in the past where some people have created online forum discussions and everybody has access to them. And so the face-to-face students have gone in, copied some information because half the work's done for them, and then gone to class and sat there and it sounded really smart. So this is a good option to sort of reduce that kind of activity as well, if you make it specific for the online student. The other thing as well is to tick on the little tab that says available for group members only. There's a little box just behind there. So you tick on that one. What I know is that by creating this common Moodle settings, this is what will enable your specific group to be able to actually see the forum when it has been created. If you don't click on that little box, available for group members only, also from what I know is that it messes up with the settings and so on, and then later you may have the students that send you very panicked emails saying, I can't see the forum, and when you go in, because I think you can also go in as a student and see what they're seeing, on Moodle it actually won't show up. So you may be able to see it, but they can't see it on their end. So you need to make sure that you follow all the different steps required for the common Moodle settings. Okay, carrying on with the idea of filling in our forum details. So this relates to restricting the access. So what dates and how long do you want your forum available to the students for? For starters, you've got to click on the little boxes on the side, just there, that talk about the enabling. Because if you don't click on the enable, then you can't change any of the dates. So you'll be trying to click on all these other little buttons and whatever, and nothing will happen. So you've got to click on enable for you to be able to edit what it actually says. What I found from my discussions with other lecturers is some lecturers will keep their forum open for the whole semester and then go in and continuously mark it. That to me sounds like a lot of work, but that's just my own conclusion. Because you've got to constantly keep an eye on what additional information has been added. Has anyone else commented on something? Do I need to go back and have a look and so on? And that just seems like a lot of work. Compared to if you keep it open for a specific period of time, say for example 1 week. So in the same way that the face-to-face students have 1 week to prepare their answers and then come to class and deliver, leave it open for that 1 week, and they've got 1 week to get in there, give their discussions, and then you mark it at the end of that week. I think that sort of saves you the trouble of going backwards and forwards. What I will point out at this stage, and you just need to keep that in mind for a little later on in our discussion, is notice how when we restrict the access, we've got not only the day of the month, so we've got the specific date, but we've also got the time, so you can stipulate what time you want it open, from what time until what time. And the time is going to be an issue when it comes to posting your question. And I'll explain that bit when we get to there in a second. Okay, so at this stage, you've now reached the bottom of your screen and you've gone through all the different different categories or sections that needed to be filled. So when you get to this stage, you just simply save and then return to course. And what you've got at that point, as you can see up here, is now you've actually created your forum discussion. But you still have a little bit more work to do, because all you've done at this stage is you've created the forum discussion. It's in the relevant topic place where it should be sitting for that particular week's activity. But you haven't yet posed a question that the students will then answer. And that's a crucial point. So here's how we now go about actually creating the question itself. Because all you've got is a shell of a forum, and then now you need to put a question in there that the students will respond to. So as the lecturer, like I state on the PowerPoint slide, obviously you can see what's going on this page on your end. But for the students, when they log on, they've just got nothing. So they've got the forum created, but when they go into the forum, there's nothing in there for them to respond to. So you've got to actually put that question out there.